moments. But first of all, I would contains the subtractions at the first settings. Okay, let's check it the first settings just for 2 minutes. Well, now let's check it. First setting is complete. Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa, and welcome to you to our channel, Sheikh Afghan Jelebi, the Misogynist Michaela. Accordance with titles and thumbnails, not thumbnails, accordance with titles, today we roast Divija Bhasin as the same shorts as we are talking the previous live streams. Okay, hello, well, salam. Okay, now, well, my name is Michaela. Well, now let's check it. Here, today's topic is the points. Uh, Here, we are talking about the patriarchy. Recently, Divija Bhasin said that successful women is always more successful than successful men because successful women is successful notwithstanding fighting against patriarchy. And now today's keywords is the tensions between India versus Iran. And here is my points that how Divija Bhasin is wrong about the patriarchy moments. Well, now here I would show you the positive sides of patriarchy. Well, but now let's check it. What is I would write the points. Well, to today's topic. What is today topics? Uh, Iranian revolutionary terrorist in Ahvaz versus Indian army. Okay. Now here we can say here we could notify what is the departure. Departure is Tri Tripura provincial state of India. And what is the arrivals? Arrival is almost uh, a was Khojistan and India. Well, did you forget about any message, Habibi? Dhanush? Okay. Now here we can let's talk about the what driving distance. Here driving distance is what is the driving distance? Driving distance is almost 26,000 kilometer. Now let's talk about the points. What is the difference between patriarchal military tank versus women military tanks? Here, patriarchal military tank velocity What is velocity is 26,000 kilometer per second. And on the other hand, woman military tank velocity v is 65 kilometer per hours. Okay. Well, now here I would like to say that what is the meaning of the that points. Accordance with Divija Bhasin's, where successful women is always more successful than men's because successful women is successful in spite of the fighting against patriarchy. And now here I would this is the statement of Divija Bhasin's. But now, oh, is that true for you? Well, now let me tell you that what is the definitions of patriarchy in Indian military. Well, the definitions of patriarchal military in Indian military is here the command of a particular gender who can contains a military tank velocity with the velocity of 26,000 kilometer per second, where driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. Okay, and now let's talk about the points. What is 26 square? 400 sum by 36 sum by 2 multiplied by 20 multiplied by 6. What is 40 multiplied by 6? That is 120. And on the other hand, 400 sum by 36 is 436. And here we can see the points. 436 sum by 240 is 676. Okay. Well, I will tell you the letters. Now, here patriarchy provides you a military tanks with the velocity of 26,000 kilometer per second. And here the effects is when we can a patriarchal military tanks as we can own, that means we can travel 26,000 kilometers in 1 second, where departure time in Tripura is Indian time zone morning 6 o'clock April 7, 2026, and the arrival time on Allahabad, Khuzestan, Iran is morning 6 o'clock 1 second past April 7, 2026 at the Indian times. Okay, and now here we can see here the purpose is to eliminate the Iranian revolutionary terrorists in Allahabad, Khuzestan of Iran. And now, when we can get a patriarchal military tanks, here departure is morning 6 o'clock and arrival time is uh, morning 6 o'clock 1 second past. Here departure date and arrival date is same. But now, when a woman fight against patriarchy, the women get a military tank. This is the feminist military tank. Now, feminist military tank velocity is 65 kilometer per hour. But now here we can see the moments. The driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. Here, let me tell you what is the points. 26,000 divided by 65. That here we can notify is 26 multiplied by 1000 divided by 13 multiplied by 5. Okay. What is 1000 divided by 5? That is 200. What is 26 divided by 3? 26 divided by 13, that is 2. Hence, we can notify here driving time would be 400 hours. Let me see. Okay. Now here we could notify this for what is 400 hours? The 400 hours is almost 4 multiplied by 100 hours. What is 100 hours? That is 16 day, 8 hours. What is 4 multiplied by 16 day? That is almost 64 days. What is 8 multiplied by 4? That is 32. Well, 12 multiplied by 2 is 24. That is here 32 subtract by 24 is 8. And now here we can say the women driving time would be 66 day, 8 hours, where they contain feminist military tank to travel the driving distance of 26,000 kilometers. Okay. Now here we can see the points. What is 66 sum by 7? That is 73. Okay. And April month contains 31 days. May month contains 30 days. Well, 73 subtract by 62 is 11. That means when the departure time is morning 6 o'clock, April 7, 2026, here arrival time would be June 11, 2026 at afternoon 2 o'clock. And that is the problem we can see, that how patriarchy is based and how feminism is worse. Okay. Now let's check at the points. Let's see how patriarchy is based. Well, patriarchy is based just because here with the patriarchal military tanks, what is the definition of patriarchy? The command of best gender that can travel 26,000 kilometers in 1 second with a military tank. Well, now, well, that means here we need a tank that we can drive 26,000 kilometers in 1 minute. Now here patriarchal military tanks velocity is 26,000 kilometer per second. That means when driving time is 26,000 kilometers, patriarchal military tank velocity is 1 second, where feminist military tank velocity is 66 day 8 hours. Well, and here we can see once upon a time a German had a biggest. Oh, yes, we can see perhaps a German contains a BBQs, and I have no ideas about BBQ. Okay, now let's check it. Now let's check what is the negative points about it. Now let's talk about the velocity comparisons. Patriarchal military tank contains the velocity of 26,000 km per second. Feminist military tank velocity is 65 km per hour. Well, now here we can see when a feminist military tank can travel 26,000 kilometers in 66 day 8 hours. Here, that is the proper preparation time for Iranian revolutionary terrorists to fight against Indian military tank, Indian army tanks. But now, when Indian army tank can travel 26,000 kilometers in 1 second, here Iranian revolutionary terrorists in Ahvaz, Khuzestan of Iran contains no clue that to get any preparation times to accept from the attack of Indian army tanks. I mean patriarchal Indian army tanks. And here we can see 26 when the distance is 26,000 kilometers, patriarchal military tanks velocity is 26,000 kilometers per second, and feminist military tanks velocity is 65 kilometers per hour. Accordance with logic and common sense, patriarchal military tank is successful. But accordance with Divija Bhasin's feminist military tank is successful. What is the logic? Here is no idea from Divija Bhasin's. Now here we could mention the velocity of military tanks. Now let's talk about the travel timing. Here driving distance is 26,000 kilometers, and the departure time is morning 6 o'clock, April 7, 2026. Now let's check it the points. When a patriarchal military tank can arrive on Ahvaz, Khuzestan of Iran at morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, April 7, 2026, feminist military tank can arrive on morning 10 o'clock, I mean afternoon 12 o'clock, June 11, 2026. And now here we can see that is the significant times at the negative moments. Accordance with logic and common sense, patriarchal military tank is successful. But accordance with Divija Bhasin's feminist military tank is successful. But what is the logic about military feminist military tank to be successful? Here is no idea. And now, here I contains a significant discussion with my relatives. Okay, now here we can see that is the moments. Here, well, we need a tank that can travel uh, 20 26,000 kilometers in 1 minute. And that is the orders from the CEO, I mean the major or the brigadier of the Indian Army. And now, well, patriarchal military tanks can travel 26,000 kilometers in 1 second. But according with Divija Bhasin, patriarchal military tank is failure. But feminist military tank can travel 26,000 kilometers in 66 day 8 hours. According with Divija Bhasin, feminist military tank is successful. But here is what a logic Divija Bhasin could not provide the response of the logical response. Okay, and now let's check it the moments. And here we could notify. Let's check the kinetic parts. Well, Patre are called military tank kinetic power. What is the calculations? Here we can see the points. One hundred thousands. That means 10 to the power 5. Enter multiple by 26 square multiple by 10 to the power 6 square. And now here is the moments. Here I can say the more points. Well, now what is the significant journeys at the moments? Well, we know the equations of kinetic power is the half of weight of military tanks multiplied by this driving distance square divided by driving time cube. And now here we could see that is the moments. What is the half of weight of military tanks? That is 10 to the power 5 kilograms. It does not matter it is if it is feminist or misogynist. Okay. Well, here trading. Well, and here we can see that means here. Oh, what a beautiful comments, and I would contains a response. Okay, I respond it. Well, now here we can see that is the points. Here we can see what is now when we are talking about patriarchal military tanks. The velocity of patriarchal military tank is 26,000 kilometer per second. And now, but driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. Here patriarchal military tank travel time is 1 second. Now here is the first observations. Driving time is driving time square equal to driving time cube equal to driving time to the power 7 equal to driving time to the power triple six. Because 1 square equal to 1 cube equal to 1 to the power 7 equal to 1 to the power triple six multiplied by 10 to the power triple six is always 1. I mean, here 1 to the power 7 equal to 1 to the power bracket of triple six multiplied by 10 to the power triple six bracket is always 1. And here we can see kinetic energy is kinetic force. Hence, the equation is half of weight of patriarchal military tanks multiplied by distance square. And what is the distance, the driving distance? That is 26,000 kilometers. That means 26 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 square. Okay. Now, what is 26 square? We have mentioned it. That is well, 676. Okay. What is 6? What is 10 to the power 6 square? That is 10 to the power 12. Now, what is the multiplication between 10 to the power 12 by 10 to the power 5? The 10 to the power 12 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 is 10 to the power 17. And here, the answer of the kinetic power is 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17. That means it is written as 67.6 trillion megawatts. Okay, and I think you can not believe it, but it is true. Trillion megawatt. And now let's talk about feminist. Let's talk about feminist military tank kinetic powers calculations. And now here we can see the points 10 to the power 5 enter multiple by bracket of 26 square multiple by 10 to the power 6 square, enter divided by what? Okay, 400 hour enter as cube. Okay, now what is 4 hours? That is 4 multiple by 3600 seconds. Hence, we can write the moments. 400 hours is almost 144 multiple by 10 to the power 4 second cube. Enter second cube. And now, let's take it the moments. Well. And here we can see that is the significant points. What is 10 to the power 4 cubes? That is 10 to the power 12. And here the previous calculation is the significance. Uh, well, 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 divided by bracket of 144 cube multiplied by 10 to the power 4 cube. What is 10 to the power 4 cube? That is 10 to the power 12. Now what is 10 to the power 17 divided by 10 to the power 12 is 10 to the power 5. Okay. Now here we can see what is 144 cubes. That means here we can see 4 cube multiplied by 36 cube. What is 36 cube? That is 6 to the power 6. That means almost 46,000. Okay. And now let's check it the moments. What is 4 cube? That is 64. Well, now what is 10 to the power 5 divided by 10 cube? That is 100. And here we can see the points. The calculation is 67,600 divided by bracket of 64 multiplied by 46. And now here we can see these moments. At the journeys, we can write here. Boy. Okay. Well. Now here we can see, I contains a beautiful comments from you. And now today's is geopolitical points. Well, now here we can see these moments. 67,600 divided by, that is here 64 multiplied by 46. Well, at least you are watching. I love you. Okay. Now let's take it once. What is 64 multiplied by 46? Well, today's topic is patriarchal military tanks versus feminist military tanks. Okay. Well, now here we can see the points. 60 sum by 4 multiple by 40 bracket of 40 sum by 6. And here we can see the points. What is 60 multiple by 40? That is 2400. Well, 4 multiple by 40 is 160. What is 6 multiple by 60? That is 36 multiple by 10s. And now what is 4 multiple by 6? That is 24. Okay. Now here we can see that I do not support feminism. Feminism is very bad. Well, what is 36 multiple by 16? That is 52. And here we can say the 520 sum by 2400 sum by I 24. Okay. And here we could see 544 sum by 2400, that is 2944. And here we can write as, that is here, it is almost 6700, I mean 67,600 divided by 3000. Okay, do you have, well sir, still I do not, I'm trying to get a job for now. Well, now let's check it. What is 676 divided by 30? Well, that is, we can write here 68 divided by 3. That here we can say it is almost 23 watts. Well, now here we can see the points. Here is the difference between patriarchal military tanks versus feminist military tanks. Well, now when the driving distance is 26,000 kilometers, where departure is Tripura of India and arrival is Ahvaz, Khuzestan of Iran, and target is to eliminate Iranian revolutionary terrorists by Indian army tanks. And here we can see that Indian patriarchal military tanks contains the kinetic powers of, well, 67.6 trillion megawatts, where feminist military tanks contains the kinetic powers of 23 watts. Where is 67.6 trillion megawatts and where is 23 watts? That is the significant difference we could see. Now, accordance with Divija Bhasin's, feminist military tanks is successful because feminist military tank contains 23 watts with the driving distance of 23,000 kilometers. On the other hand, Divija Bhasin considers patriarchal military tank failures because patriarchal military tanks contains the kinetic powers of 67.6 trillion megawatts with the driving distance of 23,000 kilometers. And now, here we can see the points. Now here I would mention is that what the military tanks we require. We require a military tank that can travel 23, 2600 kilometer per second. And now, what is the velocity? The velocity would be 26,000 kilometer per 10 seconds. And here we can say the points. The calculation of the required military tank kinetic power would be 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 divided by 1000. That is 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 14 watts. That means here we require an Indian military tank with the kinetic powers of 67.6 billion megawatts. And now here we can see the patriarchal military tanks contains the kinetic powers of 67.6 trillion megawatts, where we required 67.6 billion megawatts. Now here we can see patriarchal military tank is more powerful than we require. On the other hand, when required kinetic military tank kinetic power is 67.6 billion megawatts and feminist military tanks is 23 watts. That means feminist military tank is trillion times weaker than the required. And now here we can see the points. A feminist military tank is trillions times weaker than required military tank, but according with Divija Bhasin's, feminist military tank is successful, uh, more successful than patriarchal military tanks. On the other hand, according with Divija Bhasin's, patriarchal military tanks is failure. It does not matter if patriarchal military tank is 1000 times powerful than the requires. Well, now here we can see what the moment comes at the points. Okay. Well, yes, I cannot speak English so fluently. Okay. And sometimes I speak one word in several times. Uh, because here I have heard from Adolf Hitler that if you lie one sentence in thousand times as accordance with propaganda, some people consider lie as a truth. But when you speak the truth in thousand times, the truth is always truth. As a propaganda, truth is always accepted as a truth. And we can see the comments. Okay, and now here we can see this significant points. And now here is the military. Here we can mention the military tanks at the points. But now I think I have forgot some points. The forgetting moment is about milit- uh, military Sukhoi 37s because today's here Indians contains Sukhoi 37s. Here Indian women pilot contains Sukhoi 37s and Indian men pilot also contains the Sukhoi 37s. And now let's check it at the momentums we can see. Sukhoi yeah, when Indian women can fly with the Sukhoi 37, her velocity is almost 36 kilometer per hour. But here flying distance is 18,000 kilometers. Now 18,000 divided by 36 is 18 multiplied by 1000 divided by bracket of 18 multiplied by 2. That is 1000 divided by 2, that is 500. Okay, and now here we can see this moments. What is 500? That is 5 multiplied by 100 hours. And that is 5 enter multiple by 16 days, 8 hours. What? I think I have missed something the points. Okay. 100 means 8 days, 4 hours. 5 multiplied by 8, that is 40. And 5 multiplied by 4 is 20. 20 subtract by 12 is almost, of course, 8. Now here the women flying time would be 41 days, 8 hours. As women Sukhoi 30 in Indian women Sukhoi 37. Okay. On the other hand, let's talk about the points. Indian men Sukhoi 37 points. Here 18 days. Here we could see Indian man Sukhoi 37 is almost 18 days. I apologize. Sukhoi 37's velocity is 18,000 km per second as Indian man Sukhoi 37s. Here flying distance is 18,000 kilometers. Hence Indian man Sukhoi 37 travel time flying time is 1 second. Now here we can see accordance with the velocity here. uh, we can we can watch according with the statement of Divija Bhasin's Indian man Sukhoi 37 with 18,000 km per second is failure. But according with Divija Bhasin's statement, Indian women Sukhoi 37 with the velocity of 36 km per hour is successful. Well, and here we can see that is here the significant moments. That's the points. Okay. Now let's check it. Here we could see the moments. Indian women Sukhoi 37's kinetic power equations. How can we calculate? Here we can notify at the moments. Well, let's check about Indian man Sukhoi 37's kinetic powers. Here we can see there's 18 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6 square multiplied by 10 to the power 5. That is 324 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 watts. That means 32.4 trillion megawatts. On the other hand, here we can see, let's calculate Indian women Sukhoi 37's kinetic powers. That is 324 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 divided by 18 cube multiplied by 10 to the power 5 cube. What is 10 to the power 5 cube? That is 10 to the power 15. And what is 10 to the power 17 divided by 10 to the power 15? That is 100. And here we can calculate 32,400 divided by 18 cube. Well, what is 18 cube? That is 27 multiplied by 46,000. And here we can see that it is almost 32 watts as a women, Indian women Sukhoi 37. Now, according with Divija Bhasin, Indian women Sukhoi 37 is successful when the kinetic power is 32 watt with the flying time of flying distance of 18,000 hours. Well, and the flying timing is, when the flying velocity is almost 36 km per hour. On the other hand, according with Divija Bhasin's India man Sukhoi 37 is failure. It does not matter that in the real time Indian man Sukhoi 37's kinetic power is 32.4 trillion megawatt with the flying distance of 18,000 kilometers, and the velocity would be 18,000 kilometers per second. And here we can see that is the difference between patriarchy versus feminism. Well, why Indian? Now let's talk about the military tanks with the statement of Divija Bhasin. Why a feminist military tank with the velocity of 65 km per hour is successful accordance with Divija Bhasin? Because Divija Bhasin, accordance with Divija Bhasin, the feminist military tanks with the velocity of 65 km per hour is successful notwithstanding the fighting against patriarchy. Now, what is what is patriarchy? The patriarchy is the military tank with the velocity of patriarchal military tank with the velocity of 26,000 km per second. And here when we are talking about Sukhoi 37s, here accordance with Sukhoi 37s, What is patriarchy? The patriarchy is 18,000 kilometer per second. What is feminism? Feminism is 36 kilometer Suki 37 with the 36 kilometer per hours. And now let's check the points. Who is logical successful? Patriarchy or feminism? Of course here patriarchy, but Divija Bhasin would understand never at the points. Okay. And now here we can say the next topic is the significance. Here next topic is well here we can see these moments. Patriarchal military tanks contains. Now let's come to the military tanks. Patriarchal Indian military tanks contains the fuel system as artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now here we can see the significant points. Feminist military tank fuel system is petrols. Okay. Now, when fuel petrol has been stopped, when fuel petrol era has been stopped, fuel petrol era has been stopped in 1945 after the end of World War II. Okay. Well, when American military army is successful in a nuclear project, here fuel petrol era has been over, and in that time, in that means calendar of 1945, the era of artificial solar arc reactor has been started. Well, but still here when patriarchal military tank fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Here feminist military tank fuel system is petrols. That means here patriarchal military fuel system is modern, and feminist fuel feminist military tank fuel system is from the dinosaur era. Now let's talk about the statement of Divija Bhasin. The statement of Divija Bhasin is uh, feminist military tank is successful, it does not matter. Feminist military tank fuel system is petrol. That means feminist military tank fuel system is from the dinosaur era. On the other hand, patriarchal military tank is a failure accordance with Divija Bhasin's statement. It does not matter if patriarchal military tank fuel system is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. That means latest fuel system is fit in the calendar of 2026 era. Okay, and now here we can see the points. Here is my question for you. Do you need a car or a bike with the fuel system where fuel system has been ended in the dinosaur era? You do not want it, right? But according with Divija Bhasin, if you need a car with the fuel system of dinosaur era, you can be successful. Well, that is the statement of Divija Bhasin. And now, here we can see that She hates patriarchal. Well, here we can see feminist military tank has fight against patriarchy. Hence, feminist military tank fuel system is petrols. Now, let's contain a questions. The military tank fuel system fight against patriarchy. That can be even successful? Answer is never. Okay. And now here we can see that is the momentums as we could notify. Well, now here we can write here patriarchy are called fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power triple six degrees Celsius. On the other hand, here we can say, well, now let's talk about the patriarchal fuel system. Well, fuel weight. Now here we can see the months. Well, now it is calculation is 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 divided by 20,000 multiplied by 400 multiplied by 10 to the power triple six degrees Celsius. And now here is my questions, and I would answer properly. Okay. Now question is, what is 20,000? That is 20,000 joule per kilogram per Kelvin of the specific heat of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power triple six degrees Celsius. And the temperatures I have mentioned. Here a patriarchal military tank kinetic power is 67 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17. Well, patriarchal kinetic power is 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17. Hence, the calculation is 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 divided by bracket of 2 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 multiplied by 400 multiplied by 10 to the power triple six bracket close. And now let's check it. What is 2 multiplied by 4? That is 8. What is 10 to the power 4 multiplied by 100? That is 10 to the power 6. Okay. Now let's check it. What is 10 to the power 6 multiplied by 10 to the power triple six? That is 10 to the power 672. Now what is triple six? Here we can see what is 672 subtract by 17. That is 662 subtract by 7. That is 655. Hence, here we can see the points. The calculations is to be 676 divided by bracket of 8 multiplied by 10 to the power 655. Bracket close. Okay. Now let's check it. What is 64 divided by 4? That is 16. Yeah, 67 subtract by 64 is 6. I apologize. 64 7 subtract by 64 is 3. And here we can see what is 32 divided by 4. I mean, what is 32 divided by 8? That is 4. Well, uh, here we can see the points. 32, 6 subtracted by 32 is 4. That is the points. Here we can see the calculations is patriarchal fuel weight is 84.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 655 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Okay, and here that is the moments as we could see the significant points, and here somehow we could notify. Well, yeah. Now let's check it. What is the feminist fuel weights? Okay. Now feminist fuel weights is significance. Now let's check it. The points. The what is the feminist military tank kinetic energy? That is here 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 divided by bracket of well 16 multiplied by 1300 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 bracket close. What is 17 is subtract by 10, that is 7. Okay, and here we can say 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 7 divided by bracket of 16 multiplied by 13 bracket close. Okay, now here is the moments. What is 16 multiplied by 3? That is 48. Okay, here we can say the points. What is 16 multiplied by 13? That is 256 subtract by 48. Now 56 subtract by 48 is 8. That means 16 multiplied by 13 is 208. Okay, and now well 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 7 divided by 208. Here that is almost 3.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 7 watts 7. And here let's check it. At as the momentums we can see the points. Why we are calculating the feminist military tank kinetic energy? And here feminist military tank fuel weight. Okay, weight full volume, and here we can see the points. 33.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 7 enter divided by 100 multiplied by 0.8. Now here we can see what is 100. That is petrol specific heat multiplied by petrol difference. Well, now well now here we can see petrol specific heat is 200 2 joule per kilogram per kelvins, and petrol temperature this is almost 50 degrees Celsius. Now 2 multiplied by 50 is hundreds, and petrol density is 0.8 kilogram per liters. Well, 100 multiplied by 0.8 is 80. And here the calculations became 3.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 divided by 8. That is here 0.45 multiplied by 10 to the power 6. That means 45 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 liters of petrols a feminist military tank needs. Okay. Now here we can see this moments. What is petrol cost? That is 2 United States dollars per liters. Okay. Now here we can see the moments. Here I would contains the points. Well, hence the feminist military tank petrol cost is 900,000 United States dollars. Okay. On the other hand, patriarchal kinetic energy is 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 joules. Hence, here we can see the points. We need actual patriarchal military tank fuel cost is here 84.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 655 United States cents because artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 666 degrees Celsius in the weight of 1 kilogram cost 1 United States cents. Where artificial where we contains the 84.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 655 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius is the record of patriarchal military tank fuel systems. And now here is the points that is the necessary. Who is successful? Patriarchy or feminism? Okay. Now, now it is the necessity of the points. Here we now our Indian military's enemy is Iranian revolutionary terrorist in Ahabad, Khuzestan of Iran, and we have to eliminate them. And here we can see the patriarchal military tank contains the fuel cost as less than 1 United States cent, where feminist fuel cost is uh, almost 900,000 United States dollars. Okay, now here, now it is the but accordance with Divija Bhasin, feminism is more successful than patriarchy because a successful woman is successful notwithstanding the fighting against patriarchy. Now, here the point is that is a surprise moment, and that is weird because why successful women want to fight against patriarchy, where patriarchy is the best parameter that how a person can be successful. When a person can be successful with a patriarchy, he is a real successful. Okay, and the because here we can see patriarchy can provide you the power to contain the fuel of 84.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 655 grams kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius as a powers. Hence that you can travel 26,000 kilometers in 1 second to eliminate Iranian revolutionary Iranian revolutionary terrorist in Ahabad. Well, has. Well, what is the importance of Ahabad? The importance of Ahabad is it is the economical hub of Iranian revolutionary naval terrorist. And now, when you can destroy the Ahabad, you can eliminate the backbone of Iranian revolutionary naval terrorist. Iranian revolutionary terrorist. But here we can see when you contains 450,000 liters of petrols, you cannot be successful. But when you contains 84.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 655 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius, you can be successful to eliminate uh, economical hub of Iranian revolutionary terrorist, and that is the significant necessity at we could see. Well, we could see the significant necessity as here we can notify that is the this is the rule set by patriarchy. Well, when you are fighting against patriarchy, that means you are not fighting against Iranian revolutionary terrorists. When you are not fighting against Iranian revolutionary terrorists, then my question is, how can you defeat Iranian revolutionary terrorists? And that is the moment at the points when you are not fighting. Let's check it. Accordance with the Divija Bhasins, well, you are failure if you contains 84.5 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 655 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius to eliminate the economical hub of Iranian revolutionary terrorists. Accordance with the Divija Bhasins, you can be successful if you contains 450,000 liter of petrols that you can contains the velocity of 65 kilometer per hours to eliminate economical hub uh, of Iranian revolutionary terrorists, where departure is Tripura, provincial state of India, and arrival is Abbas city of Khuzestan, provincial state of Iran. And it does not matter if the feminist way you can be failure. If in the feminist way, if does not matter, you can be defeated by Iranian revolutionary terrorists. According with Divija Bhasin, you can be successful, but you can get victory against Iranian revolutionary terrorists in Ahabad city of Iran with the process of patriarchy. According with Divija Bhasin, you are failure. And now this is the points that is the significant points that is here the mental problems of Divija Bhasins. And now here is my personal points. When Divija Bhasins contains the several mental problems, then here why she is calling herself as a psychological doctor, why she is claiming herself as an student of psychology. Here is the significant questions. When Divija Bhasin's mental health is unstable, that she could not find that what is the parameter to defeat Iranian revolutionary terrorist in Ahabad. It can be a patriarchal process or feminist process when Divija Bhasin could not decide. Then why she is addressing herself as an psychological doctor? Here is the significant questions. Okay, and now let's check it the points. And here we could see I can try to read the chats at the moment. Well, anyone can send me some comments, please. Here, I want to read it, and I am very happy to read the comments. Okay. Well, I think someone is busy to read the comments. You can write it, and I would condense our significant points. Well, let's talk about the Sukhoi 37s. Here, when the topic is Sukhoi 37s, here we can see what is 32 multiple by, well, 18 multiple by, what is 30 multiple by 18 multiple by 10 to the power 5? That is 18 multiple by 10 to the power 5 multiple by 3. That is almost 54 multiple by 10 to the power 5. Okay. Now let's check it. What is the calculations? The calculation is, well, 54 multiple by 10 to the power 4 divided by 8. That is almost 7 multiple by 10 to the power 4. Well, that is 70 liters of petrols. Uh, uh, Indian women's Sukhoi 37 requires as a fuel system, and hence 140,000 United States dollars as cost as a petrol of Indian women's Sukhoi 37s. But now let's check it. What is the significant points? Indian man contains the fuel system for Sukhoi 37 as artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiple by 10 to the power triple six degrees Celsius. And here we can see that what is the calculation between 20,000 multiple by 400 multiple by 10 to the power triple six. That is 8 multiple by 10 to the power 672. Okay. And here is the first points. Now let's talk about the second points at the moment. What is 324 divided by bracket of 8 multiple by 10 to the power 655? That is almost 8.1 multiple by 10 to the power negative 655 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiple by 10 to the power triple six degrees Celsius. That is needed by man. Okay, that is necessary for Indian man Sukhoi 37s. Okay, now here we can see the accordance with Divija Bhasin's Indian man Sukhoi 37 is failure when it contains almost 4.1 multiple by 10 to the power negative 655 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 400 multiple by 10 to the power triple six degrees Celsius when here kinetic velocity is 18,000 kilometer per second. That is the failure accordance with the statement of Divija Bhasin. And what is the statement of Divija Bhasin's? Well, Indian women Super 37 is successful if that can contains almost uh, seven, 70,000 liters of petrols that Indian women Super 37 contains their velocity of 36 kilometer per hours. And now here we can say, contains a questions. Well, if Divija Bhasin contains a mental problems, I don't know because here Divija Bhasin say the several mental problems that she showed the points. She does not know that what is the fuel system to get a victory against Iranian revolutionary terrorists in Ahabas, the economical city of Iran's. Hans. Divija Bhasin does not know the supporting patriarchy is successful. I mean, Divija Bhasin does not know if supporting patriarchy is the process of success or fighting patriarchy is process of success. When the topic is to fight against Iranian revolutionary terrorists in where? Abbas, the economical city of Iran. And now, when Divija Bhasin cannot know that what is the secrets of the success, then why she is talking the gender war about the definitions of success as we do not know the points. Okay. Now here we can see, I am using data in 18 minutes because here the significant points, well, I am using 19 minutes as a data because we have the internet problems in the 59 minutes. Now, see you then at the next points, next live stream. And perhaps we would not talk about Divija Basins. Well, see you then. Khuda Hafiz. Love you. And you contains a question, comments. You contains any curiosity, you can comment it, or you contains questions on DM with me. Here, DM is link is I contains Instagram link in YouTube channels about sections. See you then. Khodabes, love you.